gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. Some of you may be familiar with Ray Dalio's famous Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order, which examines history's most turbulent economic and political periods to reveal societal patterns for understanding what lies ahead of us in our rapidly changing world. But something is emerging all around us that even Dalio didn't see. There actually appears to be a new principle that's changing the world like never before, and that is the rise of what's called the civilization state. Scholars are increasingly recognizing that civilization states are rising quite literally all over the world, and they're changing the international political order in powerful and dramatic ways like never before. So what is a civilization state? Well, simply put, these are states that are redrawing their boundaries around ancient civilizational spheres, such that the basic organizing principle for the whole of society is culture rather than politics. Linked to a civilization, the state has the paramount task of protecting a specific cultural tradition. And in each case, the goal is not world revolution or imperial world conquest, but rather staking out a particular sphere of civilizational self-containment, a full unification of a people's unique history, culture, and spiritual space. Many scholars have already recognized that Neo-Orthodox Russia, Neo-Confucian China, Hindu nationalist India, they're all in the process of reconfiguring themselves as civilization states. But the phenomenon's not limited to these colossal giants. For example, the nation of Israel is widely recognized as no longer a viable liberal society, but is taking on instead the characteristics of a civilization state. In many respects, Israel's become a bona fide theocracy. And this has happened largely because the political left in Israel has basically died. The Labor Party that once dominated the secular center-left in Israel, the party of former prime ministers like Yitzhak Rabin and Shimon Peres and Ehud Barak, that party today, in terms of its support, has collapsed to single digits. They're lucky if they break 8 or 9% support. The secular left has collapsed in Israel. And the reason for that collapse is demographics, particularly conservative demographics. Ultra-Orthodox Haredi school children have gone from comprising just a few percent of the pupils in Israeli classrooms a few decades back to almost half of all Jewish students today. So naturally, Israel's politics has swung way to the right, to the Orthodox Jewish right, and now Israel is instituting its unique theological traditions as the new law of the land. But it's not just Israel. The nation of Turkey, under the 20-year reign of President Erdogan, is widely viewed as a state that has practically reimagined itself in civilizational terms. The reigning secular paradigm that defined Turkey since its founding in 1923 has all but imploded. For example, much of the national education system has been fully Islamicized. Education prior to Erdogan tended to downplay the Ottoman Empire and encultured students to think of secularism and progressivism as the enlightened way of the future. Now the Ottoman Empire is being taught as an ideal society filled with enriching Islamic culture that is itself the wave of the future. And this is all because Erdogan appears very interested in transforming Turkey more into a neo-Anatolian federation of Muslim ethnicities rather than a secular democratic republic of Turkish citizens. And some have argued that this transformation may even at some point involve a revived caliphate. And this distinctively civilizational turn is already dramatically reorganizing the world like never before.
I'll be back.
No, it's not he will be back. He is back, gang. It is time to celebrate the great return by clicking on that link below and getting your very own TRUMPINATOR 2024 bobblehead in preparation for Donald Trump's glorious reascendance to the United States presidency. This collectible bobblehead from proud Patriots is made with the highest quality material and really is a must-have for any Trump fan who wants to send some energy towards what's shaping up to be the most glorious political comeback in history. Now, don't wait. There are just a limited number of these collectibles, and you don't want to be caught paying way more later on eBay from someone who bought one now. So whatever you do, don't wait. Click on that link below right now and show your support for Trump 2024 today. The world is already being reorganized around these rising civilizational states. Since the start of Russia's special military operation Ukraine, China and Russia have boosted their bilateral trade by more than 30%. They committed to massive building and infrastructure projects through what's called the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is fast becoming the largest economic organization in the world. It includes nations such as India and Pakistan, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, encompassing 40% of the world's population and 30% of the global GDP. At the end of the Russia-China summit several weeks back, President Xi's final words to Putin were this: change is coming that hasn't happened in 100 years, and we are driving this change together. Change is coming that has not happened in 100 years, and the rising civilization states of Russia and China are driving this change together. It was an absolutely astonishing statement, very bold, but highly reflective of what's happening all over the globe, even in Europe. Marielle Maréchal, the niece of National Rally leader Marine Le Pen, is promoting the idea of what's called the Latin Alliance, a coalition of nationalist populist Western European nations that mirrors a comparable alliance in Central Europe called the Visegrad Four, the combination of which promises to tip the balance of power in Europe away from the bullies in Brussels in the EU. For his part, Viktor Orban in Hungary is calling for a resurgence of Christendom across the continent as a necessary backlash against secular globalization. What we're seeing here in Russia, China, India, Turkey, Iran, Hungary, France, Poland are indicators of a rising polycentric world order made up not so much of individual nation states, but rather of large, grand civilizations. The rise of the civilization state is a huge topic right now, precisely because it upends the old liberal international order that's centered on the nation state. And the key difference here is that civilization states are not united by politics. They're united by culture. And so what we're seeing is a new world rising, where more and more populations are returning to culture, custom, and tradition. And as such, the old civilizations are reawakening. A neo-Orthodox Russia, neo-Confucian China, Shinto Japan, Hindu nationalist India, neo-Ottoman Turkey, theocratic Iran, Afghanistan, and yes, Israel, and on and on. A new civilizational world is dawning, all as the liberal world is finally and decisively coming to an end. Hey gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.